Welcome to the 2017 Geneva International Motor Show, the 87th since 1905. This year we wanted to bring you something a little different. So you'll be riding along with me as we try to take you through as much of the Geneva Motor Show as we can. This should be fun. Let's go check it out. This year at Geneva, some 68 brands are represented, displaying everything from production cars to concept cars to one-off specials to racing cars. And I, for one, couldn't be more excited. And what a way to start. As we come up to work our way through effectively what is halls 1 and 2 up here. Now, as with any motor show, there's always a bit of technique about getting it right, and you can either try to do a grid, you can try to go up and down alleys, you can mix it up. Zigzag is probably traditionally the worst way to go. You're going to get lost for sure. So we're going to try and keep things fairly regimented, try to make sense of all that's on offer here this year, and it is a lot. If you've never been to a Geneva Motor Show, it's okay, neither have I. It's my first time as well. But it's one hell of a one to start on, I can tell you that. So starting here, in this top corner, we've got Opel. There's a couple of favourites up here. One of the things you notice at the Motor Show is just how bright it is. Whether it's day or night, it really doesn't matter up here. It's a bit like a casino. They don't want you to know what time it is, so you can lose track very easily. Quite cool display here at Opel. Very bright, very upbeat, plenty of colour, and some interesting cars, particularly interesting cars for Australia. We'll start over here, and here we can see the 2018 Opel Insignia Sport Wagon, which will reach Australia in 2018 as the next Commodore. If we work our way through here, here we have the sedan. So gone is the V8 as of the end of this year, and then come 2018, the V6 will be the top performance engine that you can get in your now front wheel drive Commodore. But it's a sharp looking thing. Definitely still got some style. It's different, it's smaller to a Commodore, but hopefully for Australians, it's a good thing, and it's a good thing on the road. So we'll keep our grid going. We're going to run from Opel. We're going to have a quick sweep across here to Dacia, which is part of the Renault-Nissan Alliance. So some models are quite different. Some models might look a little bit familiar. I know that there's a few people within Car Advice who would put their hand up for a Dacia Duster. And if you're a fan of some other outlets, you may have heard of a Sandero. And if we wander over here, we've got the Mitsubishi Motors stand with the Eclipse Cross, and standing next to it we have our founder, Albors. How are you?
Hey, how you going?
Can you show us through what Mitsubishi is offering?
Sure. Well, this is called the Eclipse Cross, and despite what I originally thought, it isn't actually a replacement for the Mitsubishi ASX. It is slightly bigger. Now, it doesn't look like it from the outside, but they have told me and they have assured me that it is in fact bigger than the ASX. Also, they say that it's for a different type of buyer, and I think the chief product planner's line was that it's for people that think for themselves, which I find really odd because I assume anyone that buys a car can think for themselves. But anyway, this is the Eclipse Cross. It's Mitsubishi's first new car for quite some time. It is, despite all reports, actually based on the Outlander platform, so it's not technically all new, but it is a new car. And on the inside, it actually looks quite good. It's got CarPlay, Android Auto, and a whole heap of other stuff. And the rear, look, the rear looks a little odd.
Let's show. So the front, there's still quite a bit of bling at the front, isn't there?
Yeah, we were talking to the designer about this, and he kept saying that it's very simple. And we kept trying to explain to him that that is not simple. But clearly we were speaking different languages, so I didn't really get across. But the rear, for me...
Yeah, show us through.
Look, have a look at the back of this thing. I don't know. Like you're kind of pushing your luck, I reckon, with that. It's very busy. It's very busy, and one of the compromises of the car is that due to the sloping roofline, the boot is actually quite small. However, the second row seats are on rails and can move about 200 millimeters forward. So look, it's a compromise. They say this car is for people that have got no kids. They used to have an Outlander and have gone from having 2 kids to now having none. So empty nesters and maybe couples that don't have children. So look, it'll probably sell quite well depending on how well they price it. But yeah.
Was there something else around Mitsubishi that you wanted to show us at all?
No.
No.
They haven't really done much else. There is that X concept up there, but that's nothing new.
Show us the X concept really quick then. Let's see that, and then we can go next door because you're also here with another brand.
That is true.
This guy.
This guy, the yellow guy stuck on the wall. So yeah, there you have it. It looks, in my opinion, even worse than the Eclipse Cross.
There's been a few cars at this show that I've noticed where people are sticking them, you know, on walls and things like that.
I think they're hoping that if it's on that angle, you can't tell what it looks like.
Should we go next door then and you can show us?
Sure. The Opel actually has some really pretty cars, so let's go that way.
Cool. And look, an Opel badge.
That's it. Now, as some of you might know, Opel did get bought out recently by PSA, which is Peugeot Citroën Group. So it's no longer actually owned by General Motors. So the Commodore we're going to get from Opel will now be owned by a French company, which is quite interesting. But let me show it to you, because it actually looks really nice in my opinion. So here it is. It is obviously very different to the Commodore that we're used to. It is front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. You can get it with a 4-cylinder and a 6-cylinder. There is no V8s. And the V6 for us is actually, we're the only market that actually does get the 6-cylinder engine in Australia. So have a look at the front. They've done quite a lot of work, and they've told me that Holden actually had a lot of input in this from the very beginning when the project started in late 2012. So both in terms of engineering and design. So it's a very good looking car. I think they've done a pretty good job with it. And I really look forward to seeing it on Australian roads with a Holden badge. And
size-wise, it's notably smaller than a current Commodore as well.
I wouldn't say notably smaller, but definitely smaller. But yeah, like, I mean, that's what we're going to get. So I think the hardest thing for a Commodore buyer will now be the fact that the base model car, the current base model car is a V6, and now the top spec car will be a V6. So yeah, so you're going to be driving around 4-cylinder Commodores. But look, you know, it's the future. The times move on, and I think the Insignia is a great car. So I look forward to driving it soon.
Cool. So this Quant is a pretty cool looking thing, employing the nano fuel cell technology. Some really nice accents on the car and lines. It definitely stands out. Quite cool, but you've got to look at this thing. This is the Dendrobium. And if you're going to build a concept car to impress people, as you can see by the crowds, this is the one, it's the way to do it. Like the 2 different coloured seats there as well, and this rear end is pretty phenomenal. Look at that. All right, familiar GM sense going on here as well as we approach Cadillac. Some cool metal still getting around. Again, a lot of talk about what brands and what models are going to end up in Australia for the future of what we're looking at. Cadillac isn't necessarily a bad place to be. They've got still some nice models, some nice styling. We'll just have a quick look, because when you're looking at Cadillacs, you've got to have a look at things like this, don't you? Not potentially the most cutting edge design, but it'll get you by. Now this is some cool metal hanging around at Corvette, again, keeping this side alive with GM product. There are some very cool cars out here. And there's something in the back that we have to show you. Hiding in the back. There's this very nice Corvette that we need to drink in. But if you want to go full stupid, then you'd be looking at this guy, which is the car that I'd be looking at. That is absolutely gorgeous. The Camaro track. If black and green is not your thing, then you need to go somewhere else, because that is absolutely phenomenal. All right, we'll run along Colorado. Old mate looks a bit familiar. We'll duck over to Hyundai, and they've had this concept car revealed before. It's my first time seeing it in the flesh, so I want to show you as well, the Rm30 Concept. And it's just really interesting. It's almost alien the way that this car looks. It's very, very cool. And if it's a sign of future Hyundai N performance cars, then I'm in. Now there's a couple of little things here, but on the other side we want to show you, we've got this particular guy, the fuel cell concept car. Again, quite a bit of different styling going on. The FE fuel cell concept. If we were on green planet before, we're definitely on blue planet now. All I want to do is touch that interior. That's quite cool. A little bit different, still steering wheels and a pedal, so we haven't gone too far. This is an interesting one. This is the Hyundai i30 Wagon, which is a newly revealed car. Sadly, we're not getting the Wagon in Australia, but the front end at least is still mirroring the new i30, which we will be getting in due course, which is hiding over here. And from Hyundai, we travel to something a little bit more exotic in the form of Lamborghini. And it doesn't matter what year it is, it doesn't matter what cars they have on display, Lamborghini knows how to take your breath away. This particular orange one, very, very subtle, is the Huracan Performante. It just recently set a new, mildly contentious lap record of the Nürburgring. Those gold wheels, looks very cool. Have a squeeze there at that. Because you need a wing. There's some effect, if you can see, on that rear diffuser. We'll just have a quick look. Now Trent's already driven this car, but here we have the facelifted Aventador as well, which is also quite special. And now keeping on this side as well, there's another brand that you might be interested. These guys, fairly well known for doing some pretty cool metal. And I want to show you this. This is the new 991.2 911 GT3. As you can see from that little number there, now 4 litre. The other thing that's come back this time is a manual transmission. Exciting a lot of people, myself included, and that one is a PDK. Thanks, Porsche. Still love those wheel center lock wheel caps. They are pretty special. There's some other interesting metal around at Porsche. If we go over this way, Panamera with a difference. We have the Sport Turismo. We'll look at this blue one because blue. It's a, if you like your Panameras, it's a bit more practical. It's quite cool. It does have some really gorgeous lines on the thing. I'll just tuck into the corner to show you the back. How convenient. The practical Porsche. I know out of this and the GT3, which one I would take. Now, if you slowly take in the size of the Audi stand at this year's Geneva show, it's pretty decent. And there's a familiar face here at Audi. We've got our very own Matt Campbell. How are you, Matt?
Hello, how's it going?
Very well. Talk us through, what do we got looking at Audi?
Well, we'll go this way first. As you can see, Audi Sport with a red theme. So a lot of red cars, looking pretty.
It's very red.
And over here we've got the new RS3 sedan, which I think is going to be a bit of a hit for the brand. You know, the S3 sedan's one of the most popular models in the range. RS3 sedan, it's looking good.
And it's red.
And it's red. What isn't red, we'll go over here next, is the new RS5. It's the coupe, not the sportback. It's the two-door version. And this one is the more luxurious looking version. It's not the sportiest one. But sad news for RS5 fans, there's no V8 anymore. It's a 2.9 litre twin turbo V6. The good news is it's faster by about 0.8 seconds to 100, and it's got more power, more torque, or equal power, more torque, and apparently it sounds pretty good as well. Can't wait to see if it actually does.
Looks sharp.
Does look sharp.
Don't know about those wheels.
Yeah, maybe not those wheels. They're not the nicest wheels. There's another one over here with better wheels. But speaking of over here, we'll go check out the Q8 Sport Concept, which is Audi's take on its coupe SUV. It's a large SUV, about the same size as a Q7, maybe a little bit longer. But it's based on the Q7 platform, designed to have a bit of a sportier take on an SUV for the brand. Come on up, we'll have a look.
This is very cool. It's not red, Matt.
No, it certainly isn't red. Just check out that yellow. It's actually orange, and it's gorgeous. It's got 23-inch wheels, and according to the head exterior designer for Audi, this is 90% production ready.
Wow.
So this is pretty much what we're going to see when the Q8 comes to fruition in about probably 12 months time. We'll see the production version. It's got a different drivetrain to the original Q8 concept that we've seen at Detroit. It's a mild hybrid and with a 20 kilowatt battery pack or electric motor that helps propel it a little bit faster. It's 4.7 seconds to 100 is what Audi claims.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive for such a massive thing.
I can see that it's taken the massive grille theme as well. That's sort of carried over.
Yeah, come and have a closer look.
Yeah.
This concept has, a new grille design, and you can't tell right now, but the X shape in the headlight graphic, it's blue when the lights are on, and that's because they're laser lights. So
cool.
Pretty neat.
That'll be an option.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's go have a look at the Redis Rs5.
Yeah.
This is the other one, the sportier RS5.
This looks right.
Yeah, it does look a little bit more like an RS5 should.
Yeah.
Have a look. These wheels, they're optional, and that's a milled finish rather than machined. So they're going to be an optional pack, and they look absolutely gorgeous. There's some really nice detail. It's kind of like the iPhone, the previous one, nice milled aluminium finish, and other things that you might not have noticed, like this little black splitter, which doesn't actually do anything. It's just ornamental, but it helps widen the car. The car is 25 mils wider at each side than an A5 coupe, so it does help give it a little bit more presence on the road. And I've got to say,
those carbon mirror caps there as well, pretty cool.
yeah, I'm loving the carbon. There's plenty of carbon. Carbon roof, carbon splitter down the bottom there. It's a gorgeous car.
And I heard rumours that there's an RS5 race car around here as well.
Well, there was yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's not here today, I don't think.
All right.
That's a shame.
Matt, thanks for showing us through Audi.
Pleasure.
And I'm sure we'll try and catch up with the other guys and see what they're doing.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Fight the crowds.
First time seeing this in the flesh as well. It's the Bugatti Chiron, as you can probably tell. It's quite a gorgeous looking car actually, in the flesh. Bit of a privilege to be here to see it. We make our way to the back. It's definitely a stunning looking automobile, and no doubt that would sound pretty amazing as well. Speaking of stunning, and I'm going to say something you might not expect, and that's Bentley, because if I fight through these crowds, there are people here for a reason. Have a look at this. This Bentley concept is gorgeous, actually, with an interior that's oozing in all the class and style that you would expect. There's a Bentayga down the road, which we'll show you as well. But that is seemingly a crowd favourite. The EXP12, I think it was 6E. Check out those pretend wing mirrors. We'll just have a quick look at this particular Bentley. The Bentayga, so big you can't even fit it in your shot. So we'll dash off. From there, we're going to scoot further up here, because in the same vein as a phenomenal Chiron, this upstairs floor, these halls 1 and 2 have got some really cool stuff in it, like this thing. The Koenigsegg Regera. Very, very cool. Twin turbo 5 litre V8, a mere 1500 horsepower and 2000 Newton meters of torque. That is pretty cool. I think you'll find there some carbon fibre wheels as well. That really is a car for when you just need to go much faster than everybody else. Again, some more Koenigsegg metal to drink in. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Possibly a higher budget than some, but hey, another brand synonymous with being very, very cool is Pagani.
Look at the mirror. They're like leaves.
And it is just, this is what the whole show is like. It's just wall-to-wall drool fest, no matter your flavour. There's girls sitting on a car. I do not condone this at all. Pagani Zonda, always special to see in the flesh. Always very cool. While we're here, we'll just sneak a quick look at the front of the updated 911 GT3, because we couldn't see it from where we were before. And I want you to see it even from there. That looks pretty nice. Those guys do indeed know what they're doing. Trusty Germans. We're gonna shoot down here, look at some more fairly high-end metal if we can get through. There's two things I want to show you down this way. Glickenhaus is an interesting case. Tell you what, there is no shortage of people who know how to design cars like 7-year-olds. More wings, more aero, more aggressive. And we are certainly not complaining. Go on a scooter. The back of a Koenigsegg there. That's green, so I like that. And the good thing about the Geneva show is that there is such a good mix of the weird and wonderful cars that you see that people are making, some production cars, but also race cars. It's just such a diverse spread. I think my strategy's gone out the window already, but we'll walk over and show you some more of the Volkswagen group and what they have to offer. James Ward's been lucky enough to have a drive of this overseas, but this is the Skoda Kodiak. Yet another SUV that people are no doubt going to get very excited about. There's a white one over here. Just have a bit of a look at that. Plenty of space though. I think he said he really liked it. More Volkswagen goodness here. We've got the updated Golf R. Looking sharp, looking neat. The Eco Up, if you're a fan of small things, still liking up. Still liking up. Something else we have to show you up the back here at Volkswagen. This is the Volkswagen Arty. Quite a different look for Volkswagen, even though they've put it in their current favourite colour. Some different design cues. Doesn't look like your bog standard Volkswagen Passat, that's for sure. There's this awesome concept that I also have to show you as well if we fight the crowds a little bit. If you're a fan of the Combi, you'll be a fan of this guy. Just come round here. Get to the point that I can show you the front. Old mate is loving it. The Volkswagen ID Buzz. Apologies for the tour group that's just finished their experience of the Volkswagen ID Buzz. But that's a cool van. As the cleaners jump on it, we'll get out of the way. But that is a very cool van. Still sticking with the Volkswagen group. A couple of personal favourites, the Leon Cupra, fun car that we also don't get in Australia, and this very, very cool Leon Cupra Racer. I daily drive that. All right, we'll try and not get hit. Now, Tech Art is always worth a look. James Ward will personally see to it that I'm destroyed if I don't show off some Tech Art metal. So please do have a squiz at some of this. They've very heavily invested in over fenders. Some of it doesn't work out too badly. Some of it we'll see. Now there's a special car that I want to show you that's on display here at the Subaru stand, the 2017 Geneva Motor Show. There's an updated XV. We should probably show you that. It is a little bit of playing spot the difference. All new Subaru XV could be a little bit rich from Subaru, but trust us when we say this is an update. So we've got a couple of different colours there. Lavorg Edition Blue with a blue aerial. That's an interesting one. Blue mirror caps. Some blue accents on the wheels as well. But this is what I wanted to show you. Your friend and car advice's Chris Atkinson. Got an example of his number 55 Global Rallycross car. Full respect to Atco, back in the saddle for a full season this year. Very cool looking car, and we certainly wish him all the luck. Halls 1 and 2 in the bag, we move on to basically what is halls 3 and 4, 5 and 6, starting with this Tag Heuer display. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Some nice livery going on. A bit of quite cool metal on display. I'm going to tuck through this little way and boom, we're basically into the bottom of the Renault stand. Say what you will about the French, they've got some cool race cars. Got some cool production cars as well. Personal favourite here being the little Renault Twingo, particularly the Twingo GT, very, very cool. No, we don't get it in Australia. Yes, we should get it in Australia. Renault Twizy, no, we don't get it in Australia. Would be cool to have in Australia. But what's really cool, if we fight the crowds, is this. The Renault Zoe E-Sport Concept. Sort of a road-going EV racer, hopefully hinting at potential new style for potentially Clio and obviously Zoe, which we don't get in Australia either. Just a concept car at this stage, but an absolutely cracking one. And one of my show highlights this year for sure. Just have a squiz at the back. There we go. Plenty of diffuser action going on there as well. It's very, very cool. It's another concept that Renault's got tucked over here. The Trezor, so big that it almost doesn't fit on the screen. And the whole front of this thing basically unfolds, it lifts up the whole top canopy section and bonnet. It's quite phenomenal to see that opened up. We'll try and go back to a grid system by going over to Toyota. Recently through the Car Advice Garage, but now here in Geneva is the Toyota Cx-5. There's quite a few of them getting about. which is cool. Some different specs and colours. Quite a big stand here as well at Toyota. Some Yaris hybrid. There's a particularly cool Lamborghini Lavella WRC car tucked in there. What I wanted to show you at Toyota was this, the Toyota Yaris GRM. Keeping Toyota's relationship with Gazoo Racing well and truly alive. And the Toyota iTrill. What a cool and cute looking concept this is. Not likely to fit the whole family. But still very cool all the same. Just show you the front. Sorry. And there's also a Yaris hybrid tucked in there. Again, blue seems to be in. So if we jump some railing, and we'll wander out of Toyota. For context too, the escalators that go up the stairs, that's where we were before. That's Subaru on the left, and Opel is that yellow ring. So it's expansive, even if it's not one of the biggest motor shows. Sanyong, polarizing concept car. Won't say too much about it, I'll let people make up their own minds. But it's had a mixed result from those in the car advice team. Renault we've checked out. I do like the Talisman as well. It's a good looking wagon. More cars that we don't get in Australia. That would be cool if we did. There's a Megane GT in here as well. Just tucked in there. A little Clio RS in the background. Here's a bit of special. Good to see a brand returning to the limelight. This is the Alpine. A lot of very excited people about the A110 making its return. Small sports car, lightweight, 2 seats, bit of interest. Different look. Looks a lot like the concept car that we'd seen revealed previously. This is the production car though. Quite cool. Honda motorbikes, if you like them. There's updated Captur sitting here with its DRLs on. Some details there. You can read more about that on caradvice.com. As with all, or at least most of the cars that we're going to see here, Nissan's arrived with the GTR Nismo because it's a motor show and you have to, but that's always cool. GTRs are cool. There's a 370Z Nismo there as well. But what Nissan people are excited about, Pulsar, is on the stage here. Again, probably a little bit mild for some, but we have the updated facelifted Nissan Qashqai. And it's blue again. Just a bit of a sharpen up, some new elements. That's what it looks like up close. Fair to say, not the most exciting car at the Geneva Motor Show. Micra, still a good one. Still not in Australia. What is coming to Australia is this red car. And the badge might seem a bit familiar because the Civic Type-R is back. getting a little bit close to have a look at some details. There's quite a lot going on with this car. You've got the bonnet scoop, chunky fog lights, some brake ducting. Quite aggressive. Not sure if I personally love it. I'll just show you the back as well. I just don't know. 3 pipes, do you need them? Because Japan. There's another white Civic Type-R over here. If we jump through some crowds, we can show you the inside of this one. So you have a little bit of a look. Some plush seats actually. They look quite good, feel quite good. You've got digital display, manual gearbox, which is very good news. So I'm no doubt this will be a bit of a unit out on track and on the road. A bit easier to see some of those details with the white car. Still quite a bit going on. That spoiler you can see there is just a little bit crazy. Suzuki. They've got a new Swift that they're showing off. Why don't we have a look at the blue one for something different? So again, new Swift is quite cool. These sort of hidden door handles for the back door there. Kind of odd proportions slightly. Big headlights. It's a little bit funky, a little bit cool. Don't mind me a Swift. A different roof on that one there. Fab design, I hadn't heard of them either. They've done some things to a McLaren, a Mercedes, and believe it or not, a Model X. There we go. That's for something different. We'll wander past the stand that broke a lot of hearts this year, just quietly, which was the Isuzu stand, which had 2 cars on it. 2 special edition D-Maxes, and that was it. Haman again, James Ward would probably never talk to me again if I didn't highlight some of these specials that are on show. I think it's they're kind of automatically cool. Thanks. Even if you're not a fan, you have to be, because they're a bit boss. And if we have a look through, there's one more. There she is. Just for something a little more extreme and different. Yeah. Not sure with that. More of a Queensland car, I suggest that one. You need the right climate. RUF, we've got some cool stuff happening on their stand, including one thing that I have to show you. So fans of RUF will remember this very, very cool yellow bird from 1987. Well, RUF has decided that it was time for a new one. And there she is. Positively radiant. Very, very cool. Keeping our system going, the ultra bright Lexus stand. Bit of LC 500-ness going on. And tucked into the back here, looking about as bling as you can get. Very VIP, we've got the LS 500H. Get out of the way. Race car, that's more my kettle of fish. That's the Lexus that I'd buy. If we saunter up this way, the mood changes again, the floor colour changes again, and we're here at Fiat. And we've got a couple of things to check out here. We've got a couple of 124 Spiders, which do look quite cool. There's 500s because you've got to have 500s. What show would it be without them? There's a special car I want to show you as well. The very cool Fiat Panda Cross. May or may not work in Australia. What might be cool in Australia though is the fullback Cross. Dual cab ute from Fiat. That looks quite cool. I'll show you the back. Looks quite tough. Sort of sports bar on the back there. Bit interesting, bit cool if you like your utes. Jeep showing off a couple of things. Grand Cherokee. The Jeepness is there. I'm going to try and keep going. I'll come back up this way to show you more on this side. We're just going to have a look down this little laneway here before we get too distracted. Have to show you some Dodge products. You can see how truly busy it is all the time here in Geneva. So apologies for getting shunted around, and apologies to people who I've likely knocked over in the process of trying to show you guys around. Ram has a presence here. If you need a truck, why would you go anywhere else? Again, a James Ward favourite, Classen. Look at those wheels. For when all the bling is not enough. Mazda, some familiar cars to Australia for a change. Got the very popular Cx-5, and then tucked into the back, got a couple of Mazda MX-5 RFs on display. Quite cool, and again, good to see them in Australia. I'll show you the stage though, is what they're most proud of at the moment, and that's the new Mazda Cx-5. It does look very sharp, not drastically different to what we're used to, but it'll be interesting if people respond as well as they have been to the current model. Quite a bit of cool stuff at Ford. They get bonus points for the show this year. So if you're a fan of old school, we've got Colin McRae rally car. We've got Cosworth RS. We've got Ford Escort. We've got this gorgeous Derek Bell Jackie X racing car, which is just phenomenal, and Gulf livery is just always cool. But then there's also this stunning piece of machinery, GT40. It's very tough, possibly only bettered by this. Gone quiet because I'm just in awe. That is just a cool looking car. Very, very cool. If we continue, there's a couple other things we've got to show you. Focus ST, WAGs, that's cool. That'll do well. We've got a Focus RS doing its thing next to updated Focus ST. Speaking of ST, there's a little bit of interest in this little guy. This one's for our star photographer, Tommy Fraser. The new Fiesta St. Promises to be an even bigger joy to drive than the current one, which we all really know and love. It does look quite cool. Imagine that with some big wheels and big guards. Why wouldn't you? So we'll walk back up this way before we get completely lost, because Mustang, Paul can't drive that one. Maserati, completing this sort of FCA circle or side of the motor show. We've got the Levante there. That's why people are doing blue, because grey tends to disappear a little bit. There's a bit of buzz around to my right, but I'm going to take you left first to have a look at Alfa Romeo. And again, a car that there's a bit of excitement and interest in at the moment. Excuse me, sorry. Here's the Stelvio. That's here, trying to garner some interest and support. Will it stand out enough though? Long term is a bit of a question that's already been asked. Remains to be seen. While we're at Alfa Romeo, we can't ignore the Giulia either. First time for me seeing it in the flesh. Good proportions, very good lines. It's got all the right ingredients of a car that's going to do really well. We'll see how it goes. All right, with those boxes ticked, we're going to wander over. You can probably see it already. I'm getting there. It is Ferrari, and it is the brand new 812 Superfast. Seriously high performance, seriously fast, seriously cool. Some of the design elements from the F12 are gone, like the aero bridge that we saw, GT Lusso over there as well. I think most people have been fairly blown away by the 812, but there are some other brands that would beg to differ about that being the most exciting thing here. And one of those brands is not Ford, but it's next door to Ford. Also, that's cool. Is these guys, Aston Martin. And there's a couple of cool things they're showing off. One of the things is the launch of their AMR range, of which very nice looking Vantage is one of. There's another AMR car tucked into the side, one that you might not necessarily think needed racing stripes, and that's the Rapide. But in the middle, we have this, the Aston Martin, newly named Aston Martin Valkyrie, with a 6.5 litre V12 Cosworth engine. This thing is going to be pretty phenomenal when it hits the road. We'll just see if we can sneak in here to show you the back of the thing. Look at that Vantage. They tell me that the replacement for the V8 Vantage is going to be a worthy successor, but I tell you what, it's going to be a hard car to top. This, on the other hand, is just a bit wild. Very cool, very different looking car. No doubt going to sound phenomenal and be fairly brisk on the road, you would imagine. we'll keep on this side to show you a couple of other fairly quick cars. One in particular, keeping things British. And that's this car. Quite a polarizing design, quite a mixed response here at the show for this car, the McLaren 720S. So this is the replacement for the 650S in the Super Series. So here we are on the McLaren stand with a very special guest. We've got head of global PR. Happy with that title?
Yep.
Yep. Wayne Bruce, thank you for giving us some time.
That's fine, David.
Can you show us through some of the highlights of the 720S?
Should we start at the front?
Yes, please.
So, background. This is the first time that McLaren's ever replaced a car.
Cool.
Bearing in mind that we've only been in existence for 6 years. So this is the second generation of our Super Series. It could have been quite easy for us just to take a small step forward, but that's not the McLaren way. So it's a real evolution in terms of styling, which begins with, sorry Paul, which begins with the front of the car and the light graphic.
Yep. So it's kind of an eye socket design, isn't it?
Yeah. We used to have a daytime running light in the shape of our swoosh, but now no, we just have a simple line, and this also acts as a dynamic indicator. You have fixed but still dynamic headlights, so the LEDs don't move, which saves weight, but they show your way around corners. But more excitingly, you've also got a cooling duct here into the radiator, if you can see through.
Too bright, but yeah, right.
Then if we're going to go round the car, the next challenge that our designers set themselves was to get rid of the side air intake, which has historically been with every McLaren. So you can see here that if you come, by getting rid of this big hole here,
yeah,
they've had to find other solutions to cool the 4-litre twin-turbo V8 engine.
So that front fin where the 720 badge as well, that's part of that aero?
Exactly. So you can see through here.
Yeah.
And then what you have is an incredibly complex door. Which takes the air from under the window and through here to cool the radiators mounted here.
What are the aerodynamic improvements, the efficiencies better? Or
It's double the aero efficiency of the 650S it replaces.
Yeah. Which was quite an aero-heavy car as well.
Yes. And also much more downforce. I think, top of my head, it's 30% more downforce.
Yeah.
The next big advance for us is the structure of the car. Watch yourself.
Yep.
Like every McLaren, you have a carbon fibre tub. But the first thing we did was we took some structure out of the sill to make it much easier to get in and out of.
Yep.
Next thing we did was we took the structure up into the roof, calling it a monocage, which is something we learned from the P1. The result of that is that we have incredible strength up the top, and we save 18 kilos over the equivalent structure in the 650S this replaces. If you come around here, you can see that all the pillars are carbon fibre. In fact, we've made a deliberate point of letting you see that it's naked carbon fibre. But the most exciting bit for us is the visibility you get. So, B pillar here, but in fact you have a C and a D pillar, and it's glass through here, which means that when you sit in the car, you have almost 360-degree vision. Next thing is that the door opens right up into the roof, making it even easier to get in and out of, and you can have glass roof panels, again using the same technology that we employed on the P1. The interior, completely new, starting with the switchgear. We used to have a normal mode, which we decided was a little bit oxymoronic because there's nothing normal about a McLaren, so we've now gone to comfort, sport and track, and the car is set to start in sport. We paid, all the switchgear is new, the controls, everything. If you see it looks like metal, it really is metal. And then here you see there the folding driver display, which operates automatically in track, or you can do it in any mode.
Wow.
It's not just about theatre. Everything for a reason with McLaren. It's about just reducing the display to what you really need to know. So that's rev counter, speed, and gear.
Yeah.
It also again makes the visibility better, because we say that what's going to slow you down is if you can't see.
Makes sense. And at the back?
At the back, so the whole car weighs 18 kilos less than the 650S it replaces. So the dry weight is as low as 1,283 kilos.
Is most of that weight out of the new carbon?
A lot is.
Yeah.
But you can see inside it's plusher, so we put weight in.
Yeah.
But then we take weight out, for example, so you have carbon ceramic brakes, which are more powerful, yet we work with our supplier, but the calipers are even smaller.
Yeah, right.
Which reduces unsprung weight even further. So if you add up what we put in to what we've taken out, it's still 18 kilos lighter.
Yeah.
So you've got a lighter car and a more powerful car. So the secret's in the name. So 720 means 720 PS.
PS.
A 4-litre V8 twin-turbo engine. Unusually, we've increased the size of the engine, whereas most people are downsizing, but we've managed it yet still making it more efficient. So the CO2 is 249 grams per kilometre. And the acceleration, though, is, let's say, vivid. So 0 to 100 kilometres per hour in 2.9 seconds, but the more vivid figure is 0 to 200 in just 7.8.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Up to a top speed of 241 kilometres per hour.
Yeah.
The designers are also very proud of the fact that they've lowered the engine in the car by a whole 15 centimetres. So
wow.
So that's about that much. Which does two things. It gives you more space here to store stuff, and it also lowers the centre of gravity of the car, making it even more planted on the road. At the back, we have a full width wing and air brake. It has two actions, so it can act as a wing. So in aero mode, it just increases up to give more downforce, or if you brake heavily, it acts as a full air brake.
Yep.
The lower engine also makes the back of the car incredibly slim, and we think very beautiful.
There's quite a bit going on with that diffuser as well, isn't there?
Maybe just do one more thing.
Sure.
If you stay there. Pardon, monsieur. Un moment. Merci. Excusez-moi. Merci.
New toy.
And we have rather elegant dynamic indicators.
Very cool.
We're also very surprised, well, we've been surprising customers with the pricing.
Yes.
So, forgive me, I only have British pounds in my head, but the base price of the car is £208,000, £208,600, which is less than 5% increase over the outgoing 650S. We've been showing the car in private previews to customers now for a few weeks, and we have already taken 400 orders for the car globally. So if you want one, I suggest you hurry up.
Is there going to be a limit per se on the number of cars that you're willing to build?
There's a limit in terms of how many we can produce in 1 year.
Which would be?
So this year probably about 1,200 cars, next year max 1,500 cars.
And when are we likely to see this reach Australia?
I would hope in the next few months.
That quick?
Yeah, production is beginning very soon.
Cool.
It doesn't matter then shipping.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for showing us through this pretty phenomenal looking car.
You're welcome, David.
Now, Volvo. Everybody's favourite brand. Apparently the best coffee around, I'm learning, is at the Volvo stand. But I don't drink coffee, so it's wasted on me. This, however, everybody can enjoy. This is the new XC60. It's quite a sharp looking thing. A baby XC90, similar styling, but with a bit of its own charm. I think they're onto a winner with this one. Matty Campbell, I think, is a bit of a fan as well. If Matty says it's good, then it's probably pretty good. We'll rock it over to this side. We've got the F-Type SVR, which is quite cool in the flesh. But the car everyone's excited about. It's huge to get in and around the thing, as you can see. There we go, you can see a bit of the back of it there. Quite cool, a little bit smaller than you may think in the flesh as well. But as you can see, plenty of people checking it out at the stand here. Got quite a few around. You've got two neat little hubs. You've got Morgan here on the right. People being very Morgan. Got some cool cars. And then on this side, again, a fan favourite for our own James Ward, you've got Alpina's stand. They've got a nice selection, including the B7 and for real connoisseurs, the B7 Touring. It's quite a cool car. Bit of class. It's quite cool. Mansory, probably further away from class than Alpina with this new effect. The granite look that they've gone with, you could do that if you'd like. There's a cool Rimac show car, looks very, very cool there as well. Before we get too lost, back up towards McLaren, there's the Rolls-Royce Wraith Black badge. And then the Rolls-Royce Dawn Collection. Now we're going to go round to the left here. You can see we have Citroën. Quite a funky, cool funky stand they've got going on. We've got C3. We've got new rally car, which looks very, very cool. Even if you work for Opel, which that gentleman did. C4 Cactus. And there's quite a cool little C Aircross concept tucked into the back here. Quite a cool, funky looking thing. Throwing a bit of colour around is no bad move. Nicest carpet award definitely goes to Citroën. They know how to soften some carpet. The French. AC Schnitzer also have a presence here at the show, doing things a little bit cool, a little bit aggressive. I quite like the red wrap actually, even though someone might punch me in the face for saying so. These are the Kahn cars. We're going to go this way though. This is what Mansory have done to a Panamera. It's different. We'll go with different. We'll be polite. We'll go with different. All right, now we're at the Mercedes stand. And not only is there a special car here, there's a special guy, Tony Crawford. Hey mate.
Dave, how are you, mate?
Very well, how are you?
Well, what do you reckon of that? That's Mercedes AMG GT Concept, and it's obviously the highlight standout of this show for Mercedes-Benz, and it's a four-door coupe, V8 engine with a electric drivetrain, so it'll pump out around 600 horsepower, and better still, you'll see this thing on the road next year.
Really?
Yeah, next year, and it probably won't launch as a performance hybrid. It'll just launch as a hybrid because they're still tinkering with electric drives, etc., to get the most out of the, you know, the cooling systems have to be different, the batteries have to be different because a lot more heat comes out of a performance hybrid than a standard hybrid. So it pulls more power and also lets go of more power.
It's still got that sort of familiar face that was seen from the other AMGs.
Yeah, I love that new GT style grille that they've got on the hardcore AMG GT. I really love that. And look, this is the future of Mercedes-Benz shape, an evolution of their brand. And like it or love it, I happen to like it. But it's a proper four-seater or five-seater. You'd be able to get it in a 4 or a 5. All-wheel drive, of course, 4MATIC, Mercedes-Benz call it. And you know, you can't believe that here it is a show car, but you'll see it on the road next year.
And what else have we got at the stand here to show off?
One of my, look, show-off time. The big ticket item is a real big thing.
Let's go over there.
Cool, yeah, it's amazing. Let me show you this.
Yeah, for sure.
G650 Landaulet. And it is a absolute monster. I mean,
this is your kind of car, isn't it, Tone?
Well, it's certainly my kind of off-road car. But have a go at it. V12 bi-turbo. I've got to show you this, Dave. Like, carbon fibre flares. I mean, I don't even know how big those wheels are. They look to be 23s to me. You need a ladder to get up into it. Like, come around here and we see if we can get in it.
So this is, you're on the order list, Tone?
Yeah, I think it might be locked. Can you have a look up there?
Yeah, we can have a look inside.
It's amazing, mate. It's got more leather, stitched leather, Alcantara. But you can see in here, have a look in here. You can shove that camera up there, and the opulence of where your two passengers back. I mean, it is absolutely, it's just decadence, isn't it?
Have you got another highlight to show us before we get out of here?
Look, not really a highlight. Look, but before we move on, I mean, you can't not like the AMG GT GDR. Look at it. I mean, it's virtually a race car for the road. I love those racing seats with the yellow straps.
And there's a convertible sitting over there as well.
Yeah, that's an edition 50. So there's only 50 of those, special paint colour and all that. It's stunning.
Should we walk
really
through?
It sits quite low, yeah.
After you, we'll
yeah, mate. Special colour for the edition 50. They only come in that colour. I mean, this is a beautiful car. The Burmeister sound system, just the craftsmanship that Mercedes AMG have put into this car, it's quite special. And of course, you know, the sound of this, pity we couldn't start it up, but the sound of this thing is why people buy AMG badge cars, isn't it, you know?
It does look good in the colour.
Oh, it's amazing. I think we should have a quick look at the X-Class.
Show us.
Yeah.
Definitely think we should have a look at that.
Yeah, because that's, sorry. I tell you, it's busier today. There's your favourite E-Class.
I know, you walk past my 63 wagon.
Look at those wheels with the centre, single centre locking car. I mean, it's pretty special.
It's the perfect family car, isn't it, Tone?
It really is the perfect family car. And you know, all-wheel drive now with 4MATIC, which is great. Mercedes do have a big exhibition, don't they?
It's a big stand.
Yeah, this X-Class, this is really interesting, particularly for a ute mad market like Australia. Have a go at that. I think it's going to be an absolute winner in markets like Australia. The UK have already putting orders down for it, customers in dealerships there. It's only coming as a dual cab, there's no single cab. Obviously Mercedes don't need to worry about the lower end of the market, the workhorse end of the market, but it's going to come with two Nissan derived engines.
And it's a Navara platform, isn't it?
It is a Navara platform, but it's changed, of course, by AMG, by their own work. You'll also be able to get Mercedes' own V6 diesel, and you'll be able to probably get that. You'll be able to get the V6 diesel in an entry-level edition of this car. So, you know, like a plastic floor, like a Vito van for fleet, and for those people that actually want to use it to visit the worksite. Foreman might own a pool building company. And of course they'll be after the high-end Amarok owners with that, and I think, you know, to have a Mercedes badge on the front of your car there rather than a Volkswagen badge, one certainly speaks a louder premium shout. So yeah, inside, pity we can't get in there, but inside's really interesting as well. It's very luxurious, this concept car, but you know, this concept car is virtually ready bar the rear light assembly.
I do like that rear light though, that looks pretty cool.
That's Mercedes-Benz this year, 2017 in Geneva.
Thank you very much, sir. Dakar car at the Peugeot stand. We've got a 208 GTI, 308 GTI. But what I want to show you is this Instinct Concept. This car's done a good job of wowing crowds already. Quite cool. They're hiding the front from us at the moment, which is less helpful. But there you go. And tucked into the back, because props when props are due, is the new European Car of the Year, the Peugeot 3008. While we're down this way, we'll swing past BMW. One of the things I wanted to show you is the new 5 Series Touring, particularly the M Performance car. And it looks very neat indeed. Very cool. The M Performance. Look, we don't have an M5 Touring at the moment, but if you're going to get close, that's the car to get. 520D, that specific one. We've got some i8 and i3 goodness in here. Quite like this matte black i8 that's being cleaned at the moment. That looks quite cool. Okay. Now, we'll run across, but the one I want to show you for fans of wide body, the wide body artists themselves, Liberty Walk. And they've got a McLaren and a Ferrari on display. So I want to quickly show you this car, because Ferrari is cool, but this thing just looks amazing.
And he would then fit, and you would send your car to him, and he would fit the kit for your car.
Very, very cool. While we're eyeing off cool Liberty Walk Ferrari, there's a Q60S on display here. We'll come back up to Infinity because I want to show you Tata's concept. Have a gander at this concept from Tata. Quite cool, quite small, quite sporty. Not what you'd expect necessarily from Tata Motors, but it looks very, very cool. Very different. Sort of looks like a baby, slightly jacked up Lamborghini. We'll just have a quick look inside as well. before we get in trouble. Anyway, very cool, very, very cool. Again, it's like Lexus, it's ultra bright lights and infinity. And then tucked over here, even though it's probably the coolest thing they have at this year's show, Project Black. So the idea is just testing response for potential performance derivatives. I think if they look like that, then I think most people would be fairly happy with an Infiniti if it looked like that. F1 car. Now, I'm going to show you some stuff at Kia as well, because this little guy is the new Picanto, third generation Picanto, and this is the GT line variant. So it gets a couple of cool details. Little road rocket will be coming to Australia, but there is a 1 litre turbocharged engine that will not be at this stage. A couple other cars that Kia are showing off is the Niro plug-in hybrid, also not coming to Australia, and the Optima Sportwagon plug-in hybrid. You guessed it, also not coming to Australia. But what is coming to Australia is a car that had a little bit of a false start at its official unveiling. This is the European spec Kia Stinger, garnering a lot of attention, which is quite cool. We're just gonna have a quick look inside this little Picanto while we're here. Again, this is GT line with the new touchscreen, quite a cool interior, manual, which locally wasn't offered previously. And even in the back, you've got a bit of room there as well. I think it's quite a cute, funky looking car. Quite different to the big Gran Turismo that is the Kia Stinger. We've seen this before, and we're all chomping at the bit for them to potentially announce a follow-up Stinger shooting brake sport wagon, because I think that shape would really, really respond well to it. Could be quite cool. Wanted to show you, Smart doesn't get a whole lot of attention in Australia anymore, the Daimler products, but they've got these 2 electric drive cars, and this little Smart for 2 is just quite cool. Stubby little nose, black and green, stand out from the crowd. That's how you do an electric car. With Mercedes-Benz done, we can have a quick look at Brabus, who are doing cool things, have been doing for a while. You definitely know what you're getting into with the Brabus. We'll just scoot past some of these people, because there's another thing I have to show you. Gembala. Gembala do some amazing things, and I know a certain photographer at Car Advice, that's you, Tommy Fraser, who would be pretty excited to own and drive the Avalanche. Very, very cool car. Very cool. There is something special about Gembala. More comfy carpet, more Citroen. This is the DS stand, showing off some of their cars, including their main attraction, the DS7 Crossback. This colour's definitely in at the moment, and this Crossback looks pretty good in it. We'll scoot around and see if we can show you the back as well. Very cool taillights. Nice detail on those. Very unique. Obviously, light design is becoming more and more a focus. And that's it for the main show floor. That's halls 1 and 2, halls 3 and 4, and 5 and 6, which means Geneva's got 7 halls, means 1 hall left to go, and that is what's commonly referred to as aftermarket alley. Now we may be running a fraction late and potentially about to miss our bus, but I want to show you this. This is Hall 7, otherwise known as Aftermarket Alley. And we're taking the stairs. Basically tucked into the back of the show is this whole area of non-production car manufacturers, and we've run out of time, so I won't be able to show you everything, but it's pretty phenomenal. This sort of technical partners, the groups associated with the whole show, the people backing it from different sorts of areas and professions. There's not a whole lot of English, which makes it difficult, but you can kind of see what it's all about. This is for the people behind the brands, whether it's professional car washing material, part cleaning mechanisms to tyre changes and the like. This is for the industry people. And it's pretty cool that they get their own, effectively their own expo attached onto something as big and headline grabbing as the Geneva Motor Show. So you can see there's all sorts of equipment and fields that are covered here. I think this one's car care, detailing equipment. We had hoists, there's car wash systems. It's all about going above and beyond that upstairs at the other main show, the other main halls. There's a lot of everything new gets the attention, whereas here the attention's also on after that, after you've bought your car, or the companies and groups behind servicing them or keeping them clean or maintaining the high levels of quality that we saw upstairs. And that's just carried through to down here. So it's only the one hall, but it does go to show you just how expansive this whole show is. And as we hopefully file out to get our bus on time, that's it, that's the Geneva Motor Show. Remember to check out caradvice.com for more information and details on most of the cars that you would have seen here, and hopefully you enjoyed watching. See you next time. Thank you. Oh. Cutting it fine?
Oh boy, about -10, yeah.
That's done. Now I'm that guy with a selfie stick.